What about a bargain fragrance from a French house that you may not even know about? Well, if you want to find out what that is, you know what to do. Stay tuned. Hello, I'm Scott and this is the Centurion. Now today, as promised in the intro, I'm giving you a look at a fragrance that comes from a relatively old fragrance house from France. The fragrance house is Jacques fath. Now they used to be an old fashion designer house. Jacques fath was born in 1912 and his influence in fashion came from post-war haute couture. Some of his clients were the likes of Ava Gardner, Greta Garbo and Rita Hayworth. Sadly, in 1953, he died of leukemia. His widow carried on the fashion house, but after a while, that side of things was discontinued. And then they moved along to the accessory side of things instead, you know, like fragrances, gloves and hosiery. The first fragrance they brought out was actually in 1953 and it was Fath de Fath, which you can still buy today, although it is obviously reformulated and what have you, but it comes in a beautiful elegant bottle. Now this fragrance was really cheap. I managed to get it for less than £20. It was actually £16.95 on allbeauty.com in the UK. I will leave a link to All Beauty's site in the description. So let's take a look at the fragrance and the presentation. Right, the fragrance is called Irisime Noir. There is a flanker to this, or should I say this is a flanker to the original, which has actually got iris in. It is an iris based fragrance. Comes in the same shape bottle as this, but different colour. This has no iris in it. I'll get to that later on. But in the box, you've got like your beautiful, the lovely sort of a lilac colour in the top there. You don't want to see too much of the box, I'm not going to show you that. But the bottle is quite elegant. If you look at that, it looks like a sort of an Art Deco flying saucer type affair thing, that sort of thing. Beautiful bottle. The cap is horribly plastic, but it snaps into place and you can pick it up by the cap easily, so it's functional. And there you have a gold atomizer. We'll spray some on, shall we? And I'll get reacquainted with it. That's the really fine mist and absolutely gorgeous. Now I'll read you the notes on this first, and it is top notes of apricot and apple. Then in the mids we have osmanthus, jasmine and rose, and then in the base we have milk, vanilla and amber. Now this was brought out in 2014. Right at the beginning, I don't really get a specific fruit from this. There is a sweetness from fruits. It says apricot, and I would imagine that is more coming from the osmanthus, being that osmanthus gives off that peachy sort of apricot type of smell. But it's not overly powering, but there is a sweetness there mixed with the vanilla, which is absolutely beautiful. There's milky notes in there. Now, some of you may not like a lactonic fragrance, but this I would describe more as like a Madagascan vanilla milkshake. Not too strong, nice and creamy, and not milky as such, because the vanilla really gives it that appearance of a milkshake, or maybe like a homemade custard or something like that. It is a gourmand fragrance. Well, I think it is anyway. It's absolutely gorgeous. The rose is very much dialed back on it, as is the jasmine, although the jasmine you can just pick out little hints of it, and instead with a lot of jasmine fragrances, the jasmine can be the main player and can overpower some of the other ingredients. This sits right at the back and pushes all of them gourmand flavours and just helps them to not be overly sweet, if that makes sense. And it makes for a real beautiful fragrance. Now, if I was to describe this as, or compare it to another fragrance, I would say if you imagine Montal's Intense Cafe, for example, a beautiful, beautiful, creamy coffee rose fragrance. So stay with me with this one, but if you take away the coffee and you dial back that rose, the vanilla in Intense Cafe and a little bit of the rose and the sweetness and then an ambery type of feel is what you're getting here. So although they are not anywhere, they're not the same, there are little similarities, and this is what you're getting. You're getting nearly that quality, not as strong, but there's a big difference in price as well. Remember, I'm still getting 6-7 hours on this, and it's a fragrance, even though some of you guys out there might look at that and think that's a woman's bottle. It doesn't matter what the bottle looks like, it's what's inside. And believe me, you could wear this. If you can wear Intense Cafe, you can wear this. It's a beautiful, creamy, vanillic, ambery fragrance. It's almost white chocolatey, if that makes sense. It's beautiful. But that is Iris Semi Noir by Jacques Fath. If you did like the video, please like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell down below, and keep safe out there, and I will see you all very, very soon. Thank you very much.